Say.
A lot of you may not know or care to understand the masterpiece that is Infinity Blade, but you shouldn't, because it's one of the few works of art that will forever stand out in the mobile gaming history. If you don't feel like buying the game, or you don't have money to spare, I'm going to give you my taste on the game, especially now since it's included in Fortnite. I feel like it's more appropriate than ever. There's so much that I love about this franchise, and it's hard for me to find out where to begin. There's the amazing yet simplistic level design, the fluid combat, the satisfying feeling of killing the final boss, and the grind that it takes to get there. There's the music, the atmosphere, the perfect story, all carefully woven so that it left you hungry for more even after you finished the entire game. Again and again, Epic Games and Chair Entertainment nailed the mobile hack and slash right in the head and spun it on its heels. The Infinity Blade trilogy, which has 3 games, each of them are equally as good as the last, incorporating new and interesting mechanics into the game that fit and make the game more fun and interesting for veterans. But today, we're going to focus on the first game, the bare bones, and by far, the best Infinity Blade. From the moment you load up the game and walk up the first mountain and look over the fortress, that soon you will have to fight your way through alone, you understand what you're in for. The game starts you off on the first bloodline, making you go through this foreign tower in the middle of nowhere. You're matched with strange creatures and off-putting beasts, making you wonder about what the hell happened in this forsaken land and why. You go face to face and toe to toe with these horrific creations only to reach the top of the tower and find 2 seemingly normal-looking men in armor, one sitting in a disturbing marble throne of a queen who calls himself a god king. The more you think about the lore of the game and how little information that you're given, it makes you want to drive to beat the God King just in hopes to gain a little more insight as to what's going on and what's happening in the world around you. You don't have to grind at the game, but it makes you want to grind. Through interesting and dark atmospheres, different ways to approach climbing the massive tower, and riveting, exciting, and difficult gameplay that grasps your attention and pulls you straight into their desolate world. You're running through the same castle hundreds of times with hundreds of ancestors and new armor that might just help, or new enemies that might prove a new challenge, or even just a better takedown animation, just to fail again and again and again until you finally get it. And oh my god, when you get it, it feels so good. And then the story deprives you of that precious information, but it doesn't matter, because you finally beat the God King. You finally won. Or did you? Because you see, even after you've beaten the God King, the game gives you further content, making you acquire the actual Infinity Blade from the shop. And then you go out and beat the whole new set of monsters, each more powerful than the last. Then you will finally enter the mechanical beast at the end, and the information given to you is disturbing and raises more questions that can't be answered, because that's the true ending of Infinity Blade 1. Where there are more and more theories that are self-woven with every waking thought about what the next game might lead to. And wow, that's a lot. But honestly, that's only half of it. And there's so many feelings tied to this game that I can't even put them into words. If you play the game, or if you've played the game, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. And I can't let myself go without talking about the soundtrack. I'll leave a link in the description and in the bottom of the Reddit post to the playlist on Spotify, but it's absolutely amazing. The eerie music fits perfectly with the aesthetic, and I've spent countless hours just sitting on the top of the tower, standing aimlessly in front of the Black Knight, just listening to the soundtrack and watching the light stream through the windows of the tower. Another thing is the art and animation. That's why I say this game is a masterpiece. Because even though I painstakingly dragged myself through 200 bloodlines, it was still fucking fun. The enemies were still cool, and the fights were still interesting. It will always be dope to whip out my newly bought Infinity Blade and slash the living shit out of a parry-broken enemy. In a way, it's nostalgic, but in another way, it's not too far from today. The game has only been out since 2011. That's like 7, almost 8 years, and it's still top charting on the App Store. The creators have made such a good game, and it's so good that it brought me back for years and years. Also, a little fact, Epic and Chair were supposed to finish off the Infinity Blade trilogy with a top-down dungeon crawler called Infinity Blade Dungeons. It didn't actually include the storyline of the original one, but it got caught up in development and never made it out of the can, which is extremely disappointing. They also had a book titled Infinity Blade, which took place in between the events of the first and the second game. So if you guys want more content from this game, then you can go look those up as well. All in all, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but Infinity Blade is an absolutely amazing game. And seriously, if you guys have $5 lying around in your iTunes account, go buy this game and play it for yourself, because it's one of the few works of actual art on mobile that will forever stand out in gaming. It seems a little pricey, but I'm telling you, the whole trilogy is worth every penny. 1, 2, and 3. Also, guys, if you made it this far, I want to say thank you. I'm not used to making commentary, kind of talking videos, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, hopefully this will be going up on the Fortnite Reddit, so you guys might be able to learn a little bit more about that cool-ass sword that they got sticking out of the ground, and is hopefully going to be added to the game soon. But regardless, I'll have links to my YouTube, Twitch, and caffeine.tv channel in the Reddit post as well. So if you guys want to catch up with me, I'll most likely be in there. And I'll see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a good night.